Hello, Dragon Slayers. You're not here by accident. Some part of you, buried beneath the noise, knows the truth. The world doesn't need more influencers. It doesn't need more comfort. It needs more warriors. Men with spines, not screens. Men with coats, not cravens. Men who still remember how to fight. But here's the problem. Most men today have forgotten what they are. Not just who they are, but what they were born to become. They weren't made to be passive. They weren't made to be numb. They were made to face dragons. And that's exactly what this video is about. There's an ancient image that keeps showing up across history. A man, a beast, a sword. You have seen it in stories, in stained glass windows, in movies, dreams and myths. The man steps forward, the beast snarls, the sword is raised and the fire begins. That's the Dragon-Slayer Archetype. It's on many religions, it's deeper than any culture, and it's burned into your psyche whether you realize it or not. It's the part of you that knows that life will throw you monsters at your way, and that no one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends, it's only you. And if you don't awaken the Slayer inside you, the dragon will win. Let's talk about archetypes for a second. Carl Jung called them primordial images, patterns in the human mind that show up again and again in stories, dreams and cultures. But you don't need a psychology degree to feel it, because you have lived it. Every time you felt fear and stepped toward it anyway, every time you faced a hard truth instead of running away from it, every time you said, "This ends with me," you were touching the edge of this archetype, because the Dragon Slayer isn't a fantasy. It's not some fairy tale for bored medieval poets. It's a blueprint, a psycho-spiritual weapon, and every man has it. But here's the twist. It doesn't activate by thinking, it activates by doing. By stepping into the fire before you feel ready, by picking up the sword when your hands are shaking, by choosing responsibility over comfort every single day. That's what makes a slayer, and that's where most men get lost. Let me give you a few names. Beowulf, the warrior who dove into the swamp to fight Grendel's mother. He didn't wait for backup, he didn't form a committee, he just jumped. St. George, the Roman knight who faced a dragon that was terrorizing a city and killed it to free the people and save the princess. That legend, it's not about reptiles, it's about sacrifice. Sigurd and Fafnir, a Norse tale where the hero slays a dragon only to find out that the real beast was his own greed, and he had to face himself. Every culture has its version, because every soul needs its initiation, and in every story the pattern is the same. Face the beast, bleed a little, and come back changed, not inspired but transformed. Maybe you're thinking, okay, cool stories man, but how can I relate to this? I'm not a knight, I don't have a sword, I'm not fighting dragons. But you are. The dragon just changed shape. It's not breathing fire, it's feeding your distraction. It's not guarding a treasure, but it's guarding your potential. And it's not attacking your village, it's devouring your time, your energy, and your will to move. The dragon is your addiction to scrolling, your fear of failure, your inability to commit. And you think the world is just chaotic right now? No. The dragons have gone digital, and they are feasting on men who have forgotten how to fight. So what does this mean for you right now? It means this. You don't have to fix yourself. You don't have to become someone new. You just have to wake up what's already inside you. That part of you that is tired of drifting, tired of hiding and of being afraid of your own damn power. That part of you that still remembers what courage feels like, what discipline tastes like. That part of you is not dead, it's dormant. And the Dragon-Slayer Archetype is the fire that brings it back. If this hits something in you, good. That's the point. You didn't stumble into this by accident. You're here because something in you wants to rise again. So if you are not already part of the Brotherhood, join us. Hit that subscribe button. If you have been asleep, this is your wake-up call. You have seen the archetype before. Let's bring this into the world you already know. The archetype didn't disappear, it just put on a new armor. Think about Batman, a man forged in trauma, walking willingly into fear every night, not because he's fearless, but because he made fear his ally. Or think about Aragorn, the rightful king who hid in exile, afraid of the bloodline he carried, until he stood at the gates of Mordor and chose destiny anyway. Or Geralt of Rivia, a man who doesn't fit into the world, who is constantly misunderstood, judged, hunted, but lives by a code so strong that it outlasts kingdoms. These aren't just fictional heroes, they're mirrors. You see them and some part of you stirs, but not because they're perfect, but because they remind you of what you could be if you stopped running. That's the power of an archetype. It calls you out and calls you up. So let's break this down. What does it look like concretely to live this path today? So here are the 4 core traits of the modern Dragon-Slayer. First of all, the courage to face what others avoid. Most people run from discomfort. They flinch at pain, they numb anything real. But a Dragon-Slayer chooses to face the hard thing. The awkward conversation, the brutal self-reflection, the risk, the truth. He doesn't wait to feel brave. He moves while still afraid. Responsibility for the self and the world. He stops blaming. No more pointing fingers at parents, politicians, or fate. He takes ownership of his internal kingdom, his habits, his words, his reactions. And then he expands outward. He shows up for others, he holds the line, he becomes a shelter and not a burden. Discipline in a culture of indulgence. When everyone else is chasing dopamine, he's chasing alignment. He gets up early, he trains his body, tames his mind. He doesn't need a mood to act. His code dictates his actions, so he's free because he's bound to something higher. Transcendence through service. The Slayer doesn't just fight for himself, he slays the dragon so the village can breathe. This isn't self-help, this is legacy. It's fatherhood, mentorship, and brotherhood. It's the quiet strength of a man who sacrifices not to feel good, but to do good. He becomes dangerous but disciplined, powerful but purposeful. He's not perfect, but he's on the path. So what does this mean for you right now? It means you stop waiting to feel ready. You don't need a full battle plan. You need a sword and a direction. So here is how to begin. Step 1. Name the dragon. You know what it is. That thing you keep avoiding. That shadow that haunts your habits. Say it out loud. Write it down and make it real. Step 2. Build the code. Stop winging it. Create a basic structure for your day. Your decisions, your values. I have my own guide I plan to share for those interested. Step 3. Begin the ritual. Don't wait for motivation. Choose one thing. Waking early, journaling, lifting, walking in silence, and make it sacred. Do it even when you don't feel like it, especially then. Step 4. Join the Brotherhood. You weren't made to walk alone. Find men who hold the line, or if you can't, become that man and others will find you. So what happens when you walk the path? When you live like this, the world doesn't suddenly get easier, but you get stronger. Your thoughts sharpen, your posture straightens, your word begins to mean something again. You stop chasing validation, you start cultivating value, and most of all, you start respecting the man you see in the mirror. Not because he has reached some final form, but because you know he is in the fire on purpose, and there is peace in that. Not comfort, but peace, and the kind that can't be bought and only earned. So here's your challenge. Comment below. What dragon are you facing right now? Not in theory, but In reality, give it a name. Is it shame, fear, procrastination, rage, doubt? Call it out, because if you don't name the dragon, you can't slay it. We're building something here, something this world has tried to bury. A brotherhood of men becoming dangerous, but for the right reasons. Because in a world of soft noise and shallow masks, the Dragon-Slayer is a threat. And that's exactly what this world needs. One step at a time, one dragon at a time.